So, hello everybody, and welcome here up at the BSN podcast today. When I am recording this, it is March 3rd. This will be going out on Friday, March 4th. So it is a pre-recorded video today. I just wanted to make that clear if the intro was a little different. It is because this video is pre-recorded. I recorded today's March 3rd video about an hour ago now, and now I'm recording this video for tomorrow due to scheduling, due to scheduling and not having the time tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a podcast today instead. I figured tomorrow I'm not going to have time. I'm not going to be able to get a pod done. Looking at my schedule for tomorrow, I was just figured due to scheduling, it would be too risky, like I said, to try and do a podcast with the possibility of not doing one. So I figured today, we're about an hour out from the Nets game. So I figured today I'm going to talk about, I'm only going to do one topic, but I'm going to give you today's podcast. It's going to be pre-recorded, so this is going to go up tomorrow. I'm recording this today, March 3rd. It will go up tomorrow, Friday, March 4th. Might be up earlier than usual because I won't have to record and upload it. I'll just have to upload it. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Like I said, it's about an hour from Kevin Durant's return against the Heat, so I'm going to get this done quickly. It's only going to be about 15 to 20 minutes because I don't have a ton to talk about in terms of New York sports. I'm not going to talk about, obviously, the Nets and the Islanders tonight because they don't play, or they play, but I'm doing this before that. So I will get you ready for the weekend with Kentucky, the Knicks tomorrow, and the Rangers tomorrow. But the Nets and Islanders play tonight. So I'll have no recap on those games tomorrow or in this video because those games have not started yet. So this video is just going to be Robert Sala being at not being at the combine. I want to talk about that, give you my thoughts. I know it's kind of been a hot topic not only around the Jets but in the NFL in general and coaches in general, whether or not them being at the combine is a big deal or not. And then I'm going to get to the New York Sports Update. And like I said, since this is pre-recorded, and it's going to go up tomorrow, but since it's pre-recorded, I'll talk about Kentucky's game on Saturday against Florida. I'll talk about the Knicks tomorrow, and I'll talk about the Rangers tomorrow. But the Nets, Heat, and the Islanders, Canucks tonight, I've talked about that earlier today in my other podcast, so those I won't be recapping those games since those games have not begun yet. So, this is what I got. It's going to be one topic, and let's make it a good one. So like I said, we're going to start off Robert Sala not at the combine, get into, just the stuff about him and him not being at the combine and the rest of the NFL coaches. And then, like I said, we'll get to the New York Sports Update. Packed weekend ahead of us. Packed weekend. You got some college basketball. You got the Nets not only on tonight, but you got Sunday against the Heat or the Celtics. I don't know why I keep saying the Heat against the Celtics. You got the Knicks on tomorrow. You got the Rangers on tomorrow, and as well Sunday in Winnipeg against the Jets. So, Nets have a day game on Sunday, Kentucky day game on Saturday, Knicks tomorrow, Rangers on Sunday, and tomorrow night against the Devils at home. It's always a great series, so a lot to get to and a lot to look forward to as we get into the weekend and look forward to, the weekend and college basketball as the regular season wraps up this weekend, and then we get ready for conference tournaments starting next week and then into the March Madness a little bit later on. Alrighty, so this is BSN podcast, and let's get into it. So as previously earlier, in the day, obviously, I uploaded that video is up if you're interested in watching it. I uploaded the video on the Giants and Saquon Barkley, and like I've said, I'm trying to fit as many football topics as I can in. There's a ton of stuff in football to talk about. There's been a lot of stuff in football to talk about with the combine, with the with the combine and the free agency only being only being less than a week away. March 16th, free agency starts. As we all know, March 16th, free agency starts. When this video will go up, it's March 4th. So only 12 days away from free agency starting, and then after that, shortly after, late in April, there will be the draft. So the off season for the NFL is really starting to take shape, really starting to take form. And this week, and today began the first official player workouts. You had quarterbacks, receivers, and tight ends today. So we got a good look at a couple tight ends like Ruckert and McBride. Got a good look at some receivers like Treylon Burks had he ran, I think, a 4.55 on his 40-yard dash. Some quarterbacks were out there as well throwing today, and you were able to get a first hand at that. So one of the big topics that's been going on with the New York Jets is obviously how they approach this free agency, obviously how they approach the offseason, what they do not only in free agency and the trade market, but what they ultimately end up doing in the draft, how they protect Wilson, what do they do in the draft? Do they double up on first-round picks? Do they double up on the 2 first-round picks being offensive picks? Do they do offense, defense? Do they do 2 defensive picks? Do they take an offensive pick at number 4, trade back at number 10? What do they do? They could do a whole lot at 4 and 10. They have a lot of flexibility. They have a lot of options. We'll find that out shortly. I will find that out obviously come draft night, but we'll get a good idea after free agency because they'll fill some of their needs and we'll get a good idea where they're heading into the draft after free agency starts. But like I said, this week started Combine week, and one of the big topics is Robert Saleh not being at the Combine. And you know how sports is. Everybody has their opinion. Some people take it and say, why isn't he there? He should be there. He needs to get a good first-hand look at the players. Some people kind of stand in the middle and they're like, who cares? They'll figure it out. They're going to do whatever's best. And then there's some people like me who I have absolutely no issue with him. I guess I'm kind of in the who cares part of it, where I don't have any issue with Robert Saleh not being at the Combine. Joe Douglas is there. Joe Douglas and his staff is at the Combine. He had an interview yesterday. Saleh did his as well. They both talked. I watched both of them. I thought, we got it, obviously didn't get a whole lot in terms of what exactly the Jets were going to do. Not the GMs are going, not every GM, not the GMs aren't going to reveal a whole lot. They're not going to say, we're going to trade for this guy and we're going to sign this guy. They're not going to say that. But the whole gist of it seems like the Jets are going to really look to overall build a roster, but defensively seems to be one of the top priorities, and Sala said that yesterday. But I have no issue with Robert Saleh not being at the Combine, okay? And really since COVID, things have kind of changed in the world of sports, and you could say the world in general, but things have kind of changed in the world of sports of how teams do things in terms of scouting and overall just preparation for games and upcoming seasons. When COVID hit, everything was pretty much virtual. Meetings were virtual. Visits with players were virtual. Zoom meetings with coaches were virtual. Now, still some of those are all over phone call or virtual. But those were virtual. Like I said, meeting with prospects were virtual. Free agents, meeting with them, virtual. Everything was virtual. They had to get, during the COVID year for all sports, they had to get to this new norm of being separated, finding out ways to succeed over a computer, talking to players, getting the most out of them. And ever since that time, things have kind of changed in terms of how coaches and teams approach the offseason and how coaches and teams approach different things within the organization and approach preparation standpoints. And no longer now, not just because of COVID, but that is one of the main reasons, do we see every single coach going to the NFL Combine. The Combine used to be this big thing where you had a good Combine, you were going to get drafted high, it was huge. Now, and really since COVID too, where now technology is really evolving, where you can literally see a guy break down his film, pause the video, unpause the video, and really dissect the player from a film in-game standpoint. The NFL Combine is no longer that big anymore. And no longer is it that big, not only just for those reasons, but for other reasons like the Senior Bowl and Pro Days and all those things where coaches and GMs can ultimately, their staffs can come together and watch players. I mean, from the Jets standpoint, and why I really have no issue with Robert Saleh not going to the Combine, and why I think I'm perfectly fine with it, and why I think it honestly shows a little bit of structure in the Jets organization, because it shows that, look, Saleh's got his plan, he believes this is best, and Douglas believes it's best for him to go to the Combine. Saleh believes it's best to watch film and get it from different angles. Douglas will, take notes and all that at the combine. Sala will watch a lot of film. You come together, you figure out which pieces fit best, and you go on from there. And I have no issue with that. Like I said, whatever is going to translate to success. But I gotta really disagree with the people who have an issue with Robert Saleh not being at the combine. What's the big deal? He coached the Senior Bowl. He got up and close with guys like Ruckert, guys like Trey McBride. Other many more draft targets. He was coaching them one-on-one. He was talking to them one-on-one. You can't get more one-on-one than coaching the players in-game during the Senior Bowl. Robert Saleh got that experience firsthand at the Senior Bowl, about a month ago when that happened. What was it, a week before the Super Bowl? And now people are saying, now for the people that are saying, oh, he should be there. If he's I think it's fine because some guys skip the combine. It's not what it once was. And with the pro days too, like the pro days are, I find at times even bigger, especially from if you're looking for a quarterback. You get to see the guy throw to his receivers. You get to see the guy do many different things. You get to see the guy kind of in his own element, own environment, at his time when he's ready to go throw and really and be able to impress the coach. And you get to meet with those players one-on-one. At the combine, you really can't do that much. And I'm not trying to, blow up the combine and say it's not good. The combine's still good. You take a lot away from it. Don't get me wrong. But is it something where a coach not being there is a big deal? No, not at all. I believe Sean McVay's not going to be there now. I believe he's not going to be there now. It's a little different in McVay's case because they did just win the Super Bowl and they don't even have a first-round pick. But that's saying something. He's not there. GM's there. Joe Douglas is there. He's at the combine. Saleh's back at Florham Park, back at the Jets training facility with his staff, watching film, dissecting film. They were at the Senior Bowl. They coached those guys firsthand. They got a good experience from that. They saw what those guys did in-game and how they prepared and what they did. And then they'll be able to go to guys' pro days. So many more opportunities that the Jets have to scout players than just the NFL Combine. And that's kind of how it is, and that's the reality of the NFL. And Douglas, he's there. And look, they're going to come together. They're going to come together, break it all down, and figure out who they feel is best and who they feel are the best fits for the team and who they feel is best for the organization going forward. And a lot of people sometimes get a little crazy when they see these news. You got to realize the draft's not the only thing either, people. You still have free agency, you can make trades, all of that stuff, and you can still work with what you got. Sometimes people, I feel like in the NFL are like, oh, draft. Calm down. 13 days until free agency. Free agency hasn't even started. A lot of these mock drafts are going to be completely torn apart once free agency begins, because let's just say the Jets go out and sign 2 receivers in free agency and maybe a tight end. Well, that can mean that they might be leaning more towards offensive line and a defensive player with their first 2 picks in the draft. So there's so many different things. Free agency tells it all. But I have no issue with Saleh not being there. I think it's perfectly fine. Douglas is there. Saleh's back at Florham Park. He's watching film. He's seeing, what these guys are good at. Him and his staff are breaking it down. He's looking at guys that he potentially could fit both offensively and his defensive scheme and who they believe is best fit for the team. And that's what he's doing. Douglas is at the combine watching the guys in person. You come together, you figure out who's best. And like I said, Saleh, his coaching staff, and the Jets as a whole already got that firsthand experience, including Douglas, at the Senior Bowl, coaching those guys for the practice that entire week, and then ultimately coaching them in the game. And that's big. That's some of the most crucial, is how those guys carry themselves in the game, how those guys do in game situations. You got to watch them in person. You really get to see how their speed and how they are off the ball and all that stuff all in person. So, really, no issue with this. And like I said, whatever the Jets feel best, I've always said this, whatever the Jets feel best, whatever they feel the best is to do, Whether that's go to the combine, not go, whatever it is, as long as it translates to success. If they feel this is best for long-term success and for success moving down the road and a good, successful offseason, I'm all in for it. Because that's all I want as a Jet fan is success, winning, and more winning. That's what I want Sala and Douglas in this roster to bring to us. 13 days away from free agency, and the draft will start in April. Let me see here. NFL draft, it starts April 28th. So you'll get the draft started. You got free agency starting in March 16th, and then April 28th will be the draft. So a full offseason ahead of us. Comment down below your thoughts. I think people are overreacting a little bit. I really do. Like it's not. This isn't the first time a coach doesn't have to. It's just people are overreacting. Oh, what is this? Oh, they're not on the same. What do you mean they're not on the same page? Sala, like the Senior Bowl people, he was there. And Douglas too, I'm sure is reporting back too and seeing what he thinks and all that. It's just, I think it's being blown out of proportion for this. I don't really think this should be a story anyway. And I think down the road this will be. I think down the road, within the next couple of years, this is going to be something that's not even going to be a storyline. Like if next season Brian Dable doesn't go to the combine, I don't think it's going to be a storyline. It might pop up in the news, but I think it's getting to the point where more and more coaches now aren't going. More and more coaches find it better to watch film, see the guys at the pro day, than it is to sit with the binoculars and watch guys at the combine. I think just guys find it more helpful that way. And like I said, they already had the Senior Bowl. All right, so let's get to the New York sports update and see what's going on here in the world of New York sports. It's funny, since I'm pre-recording this, I got to go to tomorrow on all of my sports apps and on Bleacher Report on my sports app and stuff to get things all ready here. Alrighty, so as for tomorrow, like I said, as for today, I should just say today. I should start saying today because when this video is being recorded and when you listen to this video, it's going to be today. So, as for March 4th, today in the NBA, you got the 76ers and Cavs. I'll give 76ers the win. Hawks, Wizards, I'll give Hawks the win. Pistons, Pacers, I'll take the Pacers. Bucks and the Bulls, I'll take the Bucks. Magic, Raptors, I'll take the Raptors. Jazz, Pelicans, I'll take the Jazz. Thunder, Timberwolves, I'll take the Timberwolves. Rockets, Nuggets, I will take the Nuggets. And the Knicks, Suns, I'll take the Suns. And as for the NHL, we got the Blue Jackets, Kings. I'll take the Kings. Hurricanes, Penguins. I'll take the Hurricanes. Red Wings, Lightning. I'll take the Lightning. Wild, Sabres. I'll take the Wild. Jets, Stars. I'll take the Stars. And Ducks, Golden Knights. I'll take the Golden Knights. Rangers also play today. They come into this game 34-15-5, fresh off the win Wednesday night against the Blues. Devils come into this game 19-30-5. This game, the over/under is set at 6. This game goes on today, 7 p.m. Eastern on MSG. Today, meaning tomorrow, March 4th, when I'm doing this video, like I said, it's pre-recorded and all that stuff. So, that's what's on tap tomorrow for the Rangers, or today for the Rangers. Today. I'm just going to say today from now on. Rangers, Devils, tonight at the Garden. Anytime the Devils and Rangers play, always a great matchup. I'll take the Rangers. No college basketball games on, but tomorrow there will be a ton. Kentucky, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern on CBS. Kentucky comes into the game, 7th-ranked team in the nation, 24-6, fresh off of a nice win against Ole Miss. Final game at Rupp. They'll be on the road. Florida will be the home team. They come into this game 19-11. I'll take Kentucky going into the SEC tournament on a high note. Give me Kentucky. Alrighty, and as for fantasy basketball, we'll get that up here. As for fantasy basketball, tomorrow I've got going Brandon Ingram, John Collins, Nikola Jokic. Or today I've got going Brandon Ingram, John Collins, Nikola Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Buddy Hield, and Darius Garland. John Collins is still with the main injury there. Alrighty, and that will do it for the podcast today. Like I said, this is pre-recorded. So if it's up earlier tomorrow, don't be surprised by that. I'll probably put it in the thumbnail that it's pre-recorded. So just wanted to get this done. Like I said, I didn't want to not do a pod before the weekend and stuff. And especially I wanted to get to the Sala story. And since I talked about Barkley earlier on, definitely wanted to get to all that stuff. Alrighty. So, everybody, as you all know, take breaks on the weekends. Enjoy the weekend. Have a very good weekend. As you all know, if you're interested, Sunday, I do my Bubs Talking Baseball podcast. That's gonna be a fun one. I'll definitely be destroying Rob Manfred on that. There's some things that I still want to say on that. There's some things that I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about Rob Manfred. I don't know what else I'm going to talk about, to be honest with you. Since baseball's on a lockout, I don't really know what else. Maybe something. I'll find maybe a story or something, or I could just honestly do like a 20-minute one, just ranting about Rob Manfred like I did on this podcast. Whatever it is, either way. If you're interested, Sunday I'll be doing my Bubs Talking Baseball podcast on Apple Podcast. So if you're interested in checking that out, that'd be greatly appreciated. If you want to, it's just Bubs Talking Baseball on Apple Podcast. So that will be Sunday. And as for this podcast, I will see you all back here on Monday. As you all know, I take breaks on the weekend. So enjoy your weekend. Have a very good weekend. Stay. If you want to check it out, Sunday will be my Bubs Talking Baseball podcast. But as for this one, I will see you all back here on Monday. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.